Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie. I live in Utah Zone 6/7, and today we're going to plant my fall crops. Now, before we show you the crops that I'm going to plant, I'm going to give you a quick update garden tour, show you what's growing. We're not going to do a harvest because I've already gone through and done that harvest today. Huge amounts of vegetables, but we're going to save a harvest video until I get tomatoes to harvest. So let me do a quick update tour and then show you what we're going to plant tonight. Now we're going to start on my south side, and these are some of my tomatoes, and they've changed a little bit. When I showed you before, we barely had any tomatoes forming, but we did have a cool off, and we are getting quite a few tomatoes. None of them are actually ready to harvest yet, except for a few cherries. I've been harvesting a few cherries, and we have so many gorgeous ones. So we have Brad's Atomic Grape. It's a really beautiful variegated one with gorgeous colors when it's ripe, and I'll show you during our tomato harvest, but there might be some back here that are coloring up. But you can see the colors that are starting on this. Not quite ripe yet. We've got our GMO purple tomatoes. They're not quite ripe. I like them to get really, really dark. They look really dark right now, but in the sunlight you can still see a little bit of red. I like them when they're completely purple. And they make a purple tomato soup, and that's what I'm going to make out of these. They're gorgeous and they taste really good. We've got the indigo kumquat. I harvested a few today, but there's a few more starting to get ripe. They're another really beautiful tomato with a great taste. And then we've got some black zebras that my daughter saved the seeds from a plant that she grew from seeds that a friend gave her. And these are delicious and really beautiful tomatoes. We've got some jet stars in here. And then all my Roma tomatoes. We've got a lot of them. I can't wait to make sauce and paste. I think I might even make a little bit of ketchup this year if we get enough tomatoes. This is my lower garden area. We've got a lot of things ripening in here. We have a few peppers. We have some tomatillos, none that are ripe yet. And then I just harvested a ton of beans. There were yellow ones and purple ones. You can see some purple ones that I missed. The squash is finally starting to get some fruit on it. We've got a couple of them with some really good sized ones on it. This is my favorite bean. This is the northeastern bean. It's a pole bean, and they stay really, really tender and sweet. They're really, really good. More tomatoes. We've got some jet stars and black seaman. We've got a sun gold in the back. These squash did not do as well. These, I think the water got cut off to them for a while and squash bugs are starting to get to them. But these are spaghetti squash. We've got my topaz melons with maybe a little melon starting to form. These also didn't do very well, and I'm wondering if the water got cut off to these too. I added some fertilizer and I'm upping the water, and we'll see if we can actually get some fruit production on them. Now in these garden beds where I'm going to plant my winter vegetables, there's a little preview. We did have garlic and onions and shallots through these beds. Those have all been harvested. We also harvested the last of our early spring crops. We've already planted some squash. These are my spaghetti squash. We've got some good sized ones in here. And then we've got some summer squash that were planted a little bit later that have not started forming fruit yet. More winter vegetables that we're going to plant. And here's the cucumbers that I planted in a previous video. I always plant my cucumbers in July. We seem to avoid bug pressure, and these are very fast to start producing. I think it's 50 days. So we get a crop and I'm able to pull them out by the end of September. So we've got 6 of them here. These are the Market More cucumbers. So now we're going to plant some cabbages. I have 3 different kinds of cabbage. We're also going to plant some collards, and we're going to plant kohlrabi. Those are the starts that I started back at the end of June. Now I'm also going to plant some seeds. And the seeds that I'm going to plant right now are carrots, rutabagas for the first time. We're going to try those and see if we like them. And then some baby turnips. So we're going to plant all of these. That way we'll have vegetables to harvest in October, and I'm really excited. Now planting these is really easy. We just take them out of the container. We've got some really good roots on these. We're just going to dig a hole and stick it in. Make sure it's buried the same depth as the pot. So let's get you in a little bit closer and show you more. Okay, we just take it out of the container, very gently, squeezing it. The roots look pretty good. The roots look pretty good. We dig our hole so it's the same depth as it was in the container and plant it. Like I said, we've got the fertilizer and the compost already in here. So let's get the rest of these planted and then we'll show you how we do the carrots. So to plant the carrots and rutabagas, I'm just going to divide this bed into thirds. 1/3 carrots, 1/3, well, I don't know if I like rutabagas, so we're going to do a lot more carrots and a few turnips and maybe just a row or two of rutabagas just in case I don't like them. So this is my line right here. What I'm going to do is I am going to make some rows. They're not going to be straight, they're just with my hand. And then we're going to take the carrot seeds and distribute them very thinly along each row. Now we're going to do it thinly because I am not good at thinning things. And I don't want to have to thin a ton of carrots. Then we're going to gently cover them. And we're in a hurry because once again it's another late night. So we're not doing it as perfectly as we'd like. But the wonderful thing about gardening is it doesn't have to be perfect to work. So now let's get the other ones planted. So once again, we'll make some rows. And yes, I'm standing in my bed. Then we'll just thin these when they come up. So there's the rutabagas. And now we'll make the rows for the turnips. Now I grew these turnips, these baby pastel turnips, in the spring, and they were really good. And I used them in a lot of different ways. Now with the carrots and the turnips, I am going to cover them with burlap. So now we've got the carrots, turnips, and rutabagas planted and covered with burlap to keep the moisture in because they really, really don't like to dry out. So now because it's getting dark, what I'm going to do is finish planting the rest of the plants and then bring you back tomorrow and show you what they look like. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, it's been a few days since I filmed last, and we have my fall vegetables planted, mulched, and watered in, and let me show you what they look like. So this is mid-August, and here in Utah, we still have hot weather. So I have put up my shade cloth. This is a 50% shade cloth, and I hold it down, especially during the heat of the day, with these PVC clips, and they're looking pretty good. Now I love mulching with straw that holds in the water and keeps the soil cool, and hopefully these will all be ready to harvest in October. So these are my cabbage. We've got the red cabbage, a couple of kohlrabi, and some collards in there. We left my Swiss chard and kale here, so this is going to be a good bed full of fall crops. These are my Welch onions. They are perennial onion and come back year after year. They're really quite good, and I just use them as green onions. Squash is still looking good. These are my kohlrabi. All of the brassicas are going to be covered with shade cloth during the day. And we've got my carrots, turnips, and rutabagas. Now I covered all of them with burlap, just to try and hold the moisture in a little bit until they sprout. And once they sprout, I will take the burlap off and let them go. Now covering the back over with straw is a little difficult with root crops like this because it's really hard to get the straw between them. But I will do my best once they come up and see if I can get them mulched. Now I'm really excited to have my fall crops planted. I really love harvesting things in October. The crops that I'm growing right now store really well. The cabbages store for weeks in the refrigerator, so do the kohlrabi. So through the first half of the winter, I still have fresh vegetables to eat. Now the carrots, I also have leeks in another place, and the rutabagas and the turnips will last past the first frost. And it sounds like most of those you can store in the ground over the winter. So we're gonna try that out. I'll cover those up in October just before the first killing freeze, and we'll see how long we can get them to last. But I love year-round growing, and I would love to hear what you're planting right now in August and how long your growing season is. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a